Good morning, everyone, and embrace your ambition. I am Mayor Solomon, and today I am going to be talking about suicide prevention for veterans and their families. I had some issues posting directly to Facebook using the live recording, and I even tried using the audio platform that's now available, and I got halfway through and it shut down. So I don't know if there's a glitch. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this as a podcast on my show and share it to the group. So returning to civilian life presents new opportunities and challenges for veterans. Many vets look forward to life after the military because they can now spend time with family and friends and no longer have to worry about military structure or deployment. At the same time, transitioning out of the military may raise a lot of questions. They may wonder what they're going to do with this new phase of their life or whether they will be able to find a job. A person may think about going back to school but not know where to start. Or they may even miss the order and discipline of military life and wonder if they will ever be able to adjust. If your veteran is a member of the National Guard or Reserves, they may be worried about transitioning from military service back into their civilian workplace because they're unsure if they're going to be able to pick up where they left off, or even if their colleagues are going to understand what they've been through and welcome them back. Most vets go through a period of adjustment while transitioning from service to military life and ultimately find their new roles fulfilling. For some, the transition is harder or lasts a long time, which makes it difficult to enjoy life or be successful in the civilian world. Some veterans experience the following: frequently feeling on edge or tense, having difficulty concentrating, feeling angry or irritable, having trouble sleeping, feeling uncomfortable with the lack of structure and goals compared with military life, missing the adrenaline rush of physical and life-challenging situations, worry about their finances, pushing themselves to be perfect in work and other areas of their life, becoming annoyed with others who seem more easygoing or less detail-oriented than they are, feeling isolated and alone as if no one understands them. Whether they have served during a war or in peacetime, a vet's experiences in the service, both positive and negative, have made them a completely different person than they were before they entered the military, and this may have changed the way they look at things and deal with people. Stressful or traumatic situations may have resulted in habits or ways of coping that can be misunderstood or problematic in civilian life. Some veterans may experience flashbacks or they are in situations that are similar to a traumatic event from the past. For example, a combat veteran may have flashbacks to his or her time in the military when war scenes are shown on TV or in a movie, or even simply if a car backfires. Other veterans find that just experiencing the same feelings felt in the past reminds them of a traumatic event, even if the circumstances are not the same. The stress of being in a car wreck may trigger flashbacks to an assault. Often a symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder, flashbacks can interfere with a veteran's ability to enjoy life. They can be stressful or disturbing, and they may worry whether they will have flashbacks if certain situations are out in public. The veteran may be concerned about what people think or try to avoid social events that might trigger flashbacks. These can also be a cause of alarm to their family and friends, especially if said doesn't understand what's happening or even know about the difficult things veterans have experienced. Guilt is a feeling of responsibility for bad events, whether that feeling is realistic or not. Some veterans feel guilt or remorse because of something that happened in their military experience, such as an injury to a friend in their unit, friendly fire, or civilian death. Sorry, it's a little noisy this morning, guys. I apologize. Anyway, survivor guilt can include feeling guilty about surviving when others did not, wishing that they had died instead of others, or thinking that they didn't deserve to survive. Without really even thinking about it, some veterans may drink or take drugs as a way to try to cope with bad memories or traumatic experiences from their time in the military or with other difficult feelings. Maybe their home situation is less than ideal, or they're having a hard time connecting with other people. A veteran's struggle may even include thoughts of suicide. Having thoughts of suicide, thinking that others would be better off without them, and believing that there is no other way out of their problems are very serious symptoms of depression, and they need immediate attention. Don't deny their feelings. Instead, help the veteran feel and express his or her feelings. The best way to support someone in emotional pain is to validate their suffering. You might say, "Listen, you've been struggling a lot lately. You've had a really hard go of it. It takes a lot to go through what you've been through. You've endured a lot. I would guess you're pretty tired with all that's happened. Tell me about the difficulties you've been having. Of all these difficulties, what is the hardest for you to deal with?" Allow a safe place for tears. You might say, "It's okay to cry. Your tears are safe here. Listen, don't choke down your tears. When you feel a lump in your throat, let your feelings out through your tears." Platitudes minimize feelings. Things not to say to someone who's suffering through emotional pain is, count your blessings. You got to look on the bright side. God never gives you more than you can handle. Something good will come out of this. You were just following orders. If you fear the veteran may be suicidal, do the following. Be that person that asks that most difficult question. And that question is, are you thinking about killing yourself? Research shows that by asking this question, it gives the veteran an opportunity to talk about it. It does not encourage him or her to commit suicide. Express compassion and care. Communicate that the veteran's thoughts and behaviors make sense and that many people think about killing themselves. Validation is important. Communicate that the veteran's feelings are understandable and acceptable exactly as they are. Denying or suppressing pain makes it worse. Things not to say. Absolutely do not say, "How could you do that to yourself?" Or, worse yet, "What is wrong with you?" Don't ever, ever, ever say that. The presence of these behaviors require immediate attention. So pay attention to these indicators. So the veteran is searching for ways to kill himself or herself, They are talking about death, dying, or suicide. You may hear concerning statements like, "My family would be better off if I wasn't here," or "I can't go on like this," or "No one can help me." The vet is demonstrating self-destructive behavior such as increasing drug and alcohol abuse or unsafe use of weapons. They exhibit extreme emotional outbursts like loud crying or yelling. Do not leave the struggling veteran alone. Call the crisis line if you learn that your vet has any of these warning signs. They appear sad or depressed most of the time. Exhibit feelings of hopelessness, anxiety, agitation, sleeplessness, or mood swings. Feeling as if there is no reason to live. Feeling excessive guilt, shame, or sense of failure. Expressing extreme rage or anger. Engaging in risky activities without thinking. Increasing alcohol or drug misuse. Losing interest in hobbies, work, or school. Neglecting personal welfare and appearance. Withdrawing from family and friends. Showing violent behavior like punching a hole in the wall or getting into fights. Giving away prized possessions. Getting their affairs in order, tying up loose ends, or writing a will. As a family member or friend of a veteran with these challenges, you can play an important role in providing support for their recovery. People who are close to veterans are often the first to notice that they're facing a serious mental health challenge. Letting a vet know that you're there for them can help start a conversation. If the veteran is not in imminent danger, start a conversation to help him or her open up and to find out how you might be able to help. You might ask them, "When did you first start feeling like this? And did something happen that made you begin to feel this way?" When responding to answers from a veteran, remember that simple, encouraging feedback goes a long way in showing support and encouraging help seeking. You might want to let them know you're not alone, even if you feel like you are. I am here for you and I want to help you any way I can. It may not seem possible right now, but the way you're feeling will change. I might not be able to understand exactly what you're going through or how you feel, but I care about you and I want to help. Explore different resources to learn more about different kinds of mental health challenges, how they are treated, and how loved ones can help while learning tools to keep strong themselves. Because it is really tough as a family member to watch a person that you love suffer through, struggling, trying to fit back into society, and when they feel like they are all alone and nobody will ever understand how they feel or what they've experienced. When confronted with new challenges, people often find it helpful to think about when they've been resilient in the past as a first step to building more resilience. Resilience means adapting in the face of adversity by building strengths and coping skills. For many, having a family member contemplating suicide is a very distressing occurrence and requires developing resilience. By telling yourself resilient stories and analyzing the process of overcoming adversity in your life, you can begin to discover the qualities and strengths that will help you be resilient in the future. So, resilience stories reflect on a difficult experience in your life that you were able to overcome. They help you remember or discover resilient qualities within yourself. And they provide hope so you can find ways to be resilient in your current situation. Here's a few key facts about resilience. Building resilience can help you deal with life's unexpected challenges. You can learn to be resilient by becoming aware of your strengths and developing strategies to cope with stress. Common components of resilience include problem-solving skills, flexibility, a sense of purpose, a sense of humor, remaining calm under pressure, optimizing strengths in difficult situations, gaining hope, using healthy coping skills, maximizing positive emotions, maximizing positive experiences, putting things in perspective, and taking opportunities to grow and change. It's true that it is really, really difficult to go through a traumatic event, especially in another country, and not knowing if you're going to make it back home to your family. And when you come out the other side, you're still alive, and you go back home. That tape still replays over and over again in your head. I, for one, have experienced that myself. Not just in a military situation, but even outside of the military. I am a veteran myself. So this is why this particular discussion resonates with me so deeply. You can do the following to help your family member with a mental illness build their own resilience. To reinforce their resilient qualities, practice effective coping strategies with them. Support them as they take steps toward their goals. Learn strategies to help them cope more effectively with stress. Provide encouragement when it is difficult for them to see themselves as resilient. One way of shoring up resilience is by emphasizing personal strengths. Personal strengths are traits such as appreciation, emotional intelligence, fairness, forgiveness, gratitude, honesty, hope, ingenuity, integrity, and kindness, amongst a few. Resilience is something everyone can strengthen, but it is also highly individual. What helps one person cope, such as creative expression or spirituality, may not be helpful for another person. So just keep that in mind, that everything that might work for you might not work for the next person. So just keep that in mind. Work with your person and just figure out what works and what doesn't. And the only way you can do that is by communicating. I'm an advocate for the Buddy Up program in Canada. They are a part of, the suicide prevention campaign, but they focus mainly on men. Men are conditioned to not show emotion. So tie that in with going into the military, and that is now reinforced more so to where they're not supposed to show emotion. people in the military, when you go into a wartime situation, you do things. You're in survivor mode, and you do things that you would not do in a normal situation. So, now not only you now are holding in emotions that you were possibly dealing with before you went in. Now, top that off with all the traumatic experiences that you might go through in a wartime situation. And you literally have a ticking time bomb when this person returns home. Just to encourage open communication between yourself and your veteran, especially if he's male, because it's just people have a hard time processing some things, and sometimes it's hard for people to communicate. So just make sure just to be there for them. Be there for your veteran, Just let them know that you're providing a safe space for them to open up and process those feelings. And you can also reach out to your local VA for resources, and to get more information. I can provide you with some information for the VA in Ohio, because I'm a veteran myself. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And on that note, my friends, I am complete. Thank you for allowing me to share this space this morning.